Hello, friends of Earth. My name is Dakota, and this is my podcast called A Place for Humans. Welcome back. So right now I am in Mexico, still. And I'm in Oaxaca right now. And I just left Chiapas, where I was lost in the jungle for a couple days, getting stoned with this Mayan guy. And anyways, before we get into all that, let's just do a quick little message from our sponsor over at Skillshare. Shout out to Skillshare.
Do you need skills? Come with me. You see, I'm a man. And as a man, you need to go through life with skills. Whether that skills be learning witchcraft, like I'm doing now here in Catemaco in Veracruz, Mexico. This is the witchcraft capital of Mexico. Or maybe you have an interest in learning how to use technology, like cameras or Photoshop. No? You're not interested in any of those things? Well, how about you tune up your skills on some history? Or I don't know, maybe you're looking to become a man of nature, like me. Whatever it is you're searching for, you can find it over at Skillshare.com. Please use my link to sign up over at Skillshare. And for you, that discount is a free trial of Skillshare. Premium skills. Wherever you are in the world, think about it. Wherever you are, you're still there. The world can change, but you're still you. So all the skills that you gain from Skillshare will remain there, no matter what happens in the world. Skillshare.com. Please, if you are interested in Skillshare, sign up using the link that you see on the screen right here or in the description below. And it is really cool. I personally use Skillshare myself, and anything you can think of is on there. Tarot reading is on there. How to use crystals is on there. How to do your taxes is probably on there. Skillshare.com, baby. Enjoy the podcast.
For real, though, shout out to Skillshare. Those guys have been great to this podcast, and Skillshare is awesome. I actually use it. Right now I'm in Oaxaca, and everything is cool. I just did a 13-hour bus ride from San Cristobal de las Casas, which is kind of like this Pueblo Mágico, which is like a magic town. Mexico has all these magic towns, which are like, have some kind of historical significance, or there's something unique about them that Mexico considers maintaining its heritage, and they call them the magic towns. And San Cristobal is one of those magic towns, and it's pretty cool. There's this church there in, what's it called? There's a town next door to it, Chamula, I believe it's called. And this town, well, it's filled with, it's an indigenous town. They're completely autonomous by themselves. So they make their own laws. They follow their own laws. They're their own government, basically. And what language? I think they speak Sontzil. I forget how to pronounce the indigenous language that they speak, but it's really interesting because there's this church there, and from the outside, it's just a normal kind of church that you would see in anywhere in Latin America. But the inside is what makes it unlike anywhere else on the planet. Inside this church is a blend of worlds, a blend of Mayan rituals mixed with Catholic rituals. There's people in there drinking moonshine while sacrificing chickens and praying to the saints in some indigenous language. It's really bizarre. There's like smoke from the thousands and thousands and thousands of multicolored candles that surround the inside of the church. There's copal smoke. It's kind of like a resin that's from a tree. It smells really good. I love copal. But it's usually used in ceremony. in like indigenous ceremony, not in Christian ceremony. So it's really interesting. I walked in and I was blown away. Actually, took my breath away because it was like, it's big and there was this marble floor and there's pine needles all on the floor, and there's just this woman dramatically chanting while breastfeeding, and there's like a chicken screaming for its life. There's like people bowing in front of these candles, and there's like just pictures of like all the different saints, and they have these big mirrors on their chest. It's strange. And they also believe that drinking Coca-Cola helps release demons from inside your body because it induces like burps, and they think when you are burping, you're releasing evil spirits. So they also offer Coke to the saints. Crazy little place. But I loved hanging out there. I only was in there for maybe 15, 20 minutes. I sat in there, and yeah, it was really cool. But I prefer Oaxaca. That's where I'm at right now, and I was just like, oh man, I got to get back to Oaxaca. And Chiapas was really cool. I went to Palenque. Most of it was closed because of Corona, but I did get to see some of it still. And then I went down to Bonampak in Yaxchilan, and that's in the Lacandon jungle, and that's owned by the Lacandon people, the Lacandones, which are these this is a really cool story. So there's like this group of people, there's like 1,000 of them, less than 1,000 of them, and they're called the Lacandones. And the Lacandones were basically these different tribes of Mayans that retreated. They fled to the deep jungles to escape from being murdered and colonized by the Spanish. The Spanish were just killing. You know, it's funny that the Spanish portrayed all the indigenous people here to be savages, you know, saying like they're doing human sacrifice, and then use that as a justification to kill all of them. It was a difference. Sacrificed all these people because of what they believe. No difference. But anyways, they were starting to kill everybody, right? So these Mayans left into the jungle to rebuild, and now they are unified into one group of people called the Lacandones, and they still speak their Mayan dialect today. And it's really interesting to hear them talk. And they own these 2 pyramids, but probably more than 2 pyramids. They own a big chunk of this land. And Bonampak and Yaxchilan are open. And I believe it's because the Lacandon own it, and it's not run through the Mexican government. But it's beautiful, deep ruins, Mayan ruins in the middle of the jungle. Way cooler than Palenque. Definitely recommend it if you ever decide that you can make it that far into the jungle. It's not easy to get there. But yeah, then I just got dropped off in the Lacandon community. Oh, that sounds a lot better right there. I got dropped off in the Lacandon community, and I stayed there for a few nights, made friends with Josue. He's like this kid, and he took me into the jungle. We walked for 6 hours in the jungle. My legs are still all bit up right now from the ants. Totally. I don't know if you guys remember that Indiana Jones scene where the ants eat all that guy at the end. They eat they eat the man. A bunch of ants eat a man. And when I was here, there were so many ants. Like you couldn't, there was one spot particularly where there were so many ants. The floor was ants. Like if you ran through them, you're going to kill probably 100,000 ants because there's no way not to step on them. But it wouldn't matter because there's 15 billion more. And I was thinking, like, how long would it take these ants to eat a person? And I bet it would only take 3 days. I bet those ants could eat a person in 3 days. But anyways, it was crazy, and my legs are all bit up from these big fire ants. Everything in the jungle is like extra large, so these ants are like an inch long, and they have legs like daddy long legs. Maybe not like that, but I don't know. They just bite really hard. So yeah, Josue, he took me into the jungle, and he was just telling me all about these trees. he was like, the Mayans used to, they pray to this tree because it gets really big. And we use this tree for this and this tree for that. And this is the name of the orange tree in Mayan. And it was really cool. And he just keeps telling me, he's like, just wait, I got something cool to show you. And then it's like 2 hours, we're into the jungle. And he's like, no, just wait. I'm just like, fuck, man, been walking for you're telling me to wait for 2 hours. We're 2 hours in the middle of the jungle. What do you got to show me, Josue? And then like another hour we walk in, and then all of a sudden there's this like ancient temple, which he called the lost city of the La Canja. And honestly, this whole jungle was filled with Mayan ruins. Like you couldn't even walk, especially in this area, without tripping over some kind of like thing sticking out of the ground, whether it's like a rock with a carving on it or just like some clearly arranged stones. And they don't seem to have any interest in digging there, but it's definitely a lost city. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's ruins everywhere, completely overtaken by the jungle. But if you were to go in there and like, you know, removed those trees and start digging, you would find an entire Mayan city there with pyramids probably and everything. But it's kind of cool that they don't want to do anything with it, and they're just allowing it to be reclaimed by nature. It's really beautiful to see. And Josue smoked weed. I couldn't believe it. He pulled out a joint that was wrapped in some green leaf, and he smoked weed with me. I got high with a Mayan at ruins in the middle of the jungle. Couldn't believe it. Shout out to Josue. I forget how to pronounce his Mayan name, but it means sun bee. Like a bee and like the sun. Sun bee. That's what his Mayan name means in English. Oh, what else? Oh yeah, I went back to Catemaco, which I think I've talked a lot about on this channel. Catemaco is this little town in Veracruz in Mexico where it's like a Satanist town, basically. So I went back and hung out with them. Went on a date with a Satanist girl, just because I thought it'd be funny. Hung out with the Satanist for a couple of days. Went back to the cave of the devil. I don't know if you guys remember that video, but I made a new video because it's about to be Halloween. So I figured, like, hey, it'd be cool to make a new Halloween spooky video. So in the new video, La Cueva del Diablo. Or I think I just called it in the town of Satanist in Mexico or something, visiting the town of Satanist. But it's definitely way better than my old one. And we go to the cave of the devil where Enrique, this guy I know, does a ritual to the devil, and then we get into a car accident, and then I eat some corn, and then then basically I leave and I go to Palenque. But the video's cool. It was a really fun video for me to edit. And actually, speaking of Halloween, that's coming up in 11 days from now. And also, Dia de los Muertos is starting then also. And I'm here in Oaxaca for Day of the Dead. And so it's going to be really cool. Most of it's going to be closed, especially to tourists. But still, it should be cool to just feel the vibe of being in Oaxaca for Day of the Dead. I guess one thought before I make an announcement. I find it so interesting that traditions all around the world celebrate some kind of remembrance to the dead around this time of year. Different traditions with the same type of holiday. It's one of those kind of things where it's like, man, was there some kind of connection between the cultures back then? Because why is it like this? It seems to be too much of a fishy thing where many cultures believe that this is a Day of the Dead, or when, like this is like a memorial. The end of October into the beginning of November is like always a remembrance to the dead, or like so many myths about this time being the thin veil between worlds where we can communicate with our ancestors and they can come here and we can do rituals to communicate with them. this idea is found all over. I heard Graham Hancock actually mention this, and he said that he believes this is around the time where the catastrophic event happened that broke up the world. We were all a civilization, a global civilization at one point. Atlantis, Lemuria, all this type of idea. Egypt, and Egypt kind of being like the founding, the regathering, and refinding of the civilizations. But anyways, I heard Graham Hancock say that maybe this is the when it happened. It happened around this time. So there's like this tradition that's been passed down since then, just echoing its way down the human timeline and being expressed, and like through Halloween and Day of the Dead and whatever other ones there are. I know there's a couple more. Oh yeah, my announcement. So October 31st, I will be releasing the best film project I've ever worked on. It's about the Igori in India. This was filmed 2 years ago now, 2018. And it's just now being finished. This is hands down, without a doubt, the most professional and high production thing that probably will ever be on my YouTube channel. It's very expensive for me to make this video.
Being on the middle of the river and the overwhelming feeling of like, holy shit, like we're actually doing this. We're going to look for a dead body with this guy.
Kyle, you and I, we had a lot of moments on that boat ride, going up there. I'm up against Kashi Baba, and he starts doing this really ritualistic prayer, and his eyes, I shit you not, started going inwards into his head. It was almost like a test to myself, as much as like they commit these vile acts to go against their egoic tendencies or their egoic propensities. I felt like the same thing, where I had to kind of put my own beliefs, my own preconceived assumptions, and my culture shock aside, so that I can get this on camera and document it for a more altruistic purpose.
This is some real deep, like anthropological work in a lot of ways. Like, who is doing this kind of stuff,
But nonetheless, it was a crazy adventure going to find the Igori. You've probably heard the story 1,000 times on this YouTube channel. I went to India to find the Igori, which are this group of cannibals who do dark spiritual rituals. I wanted to figure out what the heck was going on with them. So I went to hang out with them, and we filmed a short documentary of our experience. And it's coming out October 31st, and I'm very excited to release it. Hopefully I'll have a preview or like a trailer to upload pretty soon. I'm so excited for it. It's with my friend Jar. You may remember Jar from being a guest on the podcast once or twice, actually, a couple times maybe. And I love Jar. He's a good guy. I toured with him all around the United States. We went to India together, and he is very, very talented. He works with all kinds of bands, and typically works with music, and I met him while touring. I was touring with a band called Issues. He was also touring with a band called Issues, R.I.P. Issues. Yeah, we won't talk about that for now. But he was really talented, and I was like, man, I love your work. And I make YouTube videos. I feel like we should work on a project together. And it just happened. We were living together in a bus, and the next thing we knew, like a month later, after the tour was over, we flew to India with Kyle David Hall, who was also there with us. I'm very excited. So we meet 3 different Igori, and they all kind of have a different vibe, and it's just all crazy. A bunch of death, lots of skulls, and this guy pulled his body out of the water and skinned it, and then he tried to show us how to find a dead body, and he was going to meditate on top of it for us, and it's just a whole fucking thing, and crazy video. It is actually insane. My life is so crazy. Like, for me to say that so casually, I forget. Like, I don't know. I just forget that this isn't normal for people. Like, hanging out with cannibals and hanging out with Satanists. Like, I don't know. Like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? But it's only because I think it's interesting. Like, people get mad at me and think I'm some kind of Satanist or that I'm like, you know, like a devil worshiper or something. I'm definitely not a devil worshiper. It's just interesting. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting to acknowledge the polarities of life, the different way that spirituality expresses itself? And I mean, just from like a cultural and like anthropological, you know, perspective, I consider it anthropology is the way I look at it. But I don't expect everyone to understand, you know. For me, it's just like I'm so fascinated by humanity, and I'm so fascinated by spirituality and the way that people connect with spirituality through all these different stories and symbols. And no matter what, no matter how dark it is, there is always these common themes. You know, unless it's intentionally not making. What I mean is like the Igori, for example. They do everything against what you're supposed to do. You know, we think of spirituality, we think of like meditation, butterflies, nature, rainbows. Oh, we don't think of like skinning dead bodies and like eating trash off the ground and like pissing on people to scare them away. But the Igori, it's the same thing. Like, you know, like when we, like all the hippies, like myself and, you know, I don't know, like diving deep, like, you know, like Ralph, like these two, us type of us folk, we talk a lot of shit about oneness, and I don't mean to throw Ralph in that. Like, I personally talk a lot of shit about oneness. I talk a lot of shit about all the spiritual stuff, right? It's all fluff. It's all fluff. I don't see the world as one. I don't see the world as one. I mean, I know it's one, and intuitively, deep in my heart, I do know this. I do recognize it. But like, I don't go through my life every day like completely in love with every step I take because I recognize the divine beauty of it. You know, I don't look at every person on the street and I'm just like, man, you are me. I love you. Like, fuck, wake up. This is crazy. You know, I don't think that all the time. Sometimes it hits me. But the Igori, they live in it, man. They see everything as one. But the thing is, they do it in a way where they surround themselves with death. They surround themselves with everything to spite their ego. No boundaries. Completely sever the head of the ego. Like Kali wearing the necklace of heads. Every desire, cut the head off it. You want to eat some nice meal? Cut the head off it. Eat that trash off the ground. You're scared to die? Go in the cremation ground and steal the ash of that person that just burned and rub it all over yourself. It's all one. It doesn't make a difference. It's all one. This is what the Igori believe. And fuck, it's deep. And it's fascinating to me. Because where else in the world do you find this stuff? Where do you find this? You don't find this shit anywhere else. This is only in India, baby. Deep is deep. This is the deepness of Hinduism, you know? You can basically practice any religion and still be a Hindu. You can worship Jesus and still be a Hindu. You can worship, you can, do these rituals and still be a Hindu. Although a lot of Hindus do consider the Igori to be taboo and a bit, not representative of what they stand for. But it is. It's a bona fide spiritual path, and I do understand it. And anyways, this was a really fun documentary to make, and I'm fucking stoked that it's finally getting done. Let's see. It's sending right now. We still got about an hour. I've got really bad Wi-Fi right now, so everything takes a really long time to send. I wanted to make an announcement about a donation. There's like a donation campaign going on for my friends in the jungle. Let me try to find it. Friends of Arcana. Facebook. So, Maestra Justina and her family and all the Shabibos, the tribe of people that live in, in the jungle and Vencedor in Pucallpa. I think their community is actually called San Francisco. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that they've just started a GoFundMe to help Eligio and Justina, which are my family, to purchase supplies for a community hospital that they're just recently opened in their village. Because these people live, when I'm talking about live in the jungle, these people live 12-hour boat ride into the jungle from civilization. So if you are feeling generous and would like to donate, please support Maestro Justina and Maestro Eligio. And they're looking to raise $6,500. Right now they've already raised $3,000. And I'll put the link down below. And if you're interested to learn more about the Shibibos or to learn more about Eligio and Maestro Justina, Maestro Eligio, then you can check out my YouTube. Check out my Peru videos. There's tons of videos, so you can kind of get a glimpse of what the Shibibos are about. They're beautiful people, and I'm happy to support them. I'll make a little donation, and if you are also feeling called to that, then make a donation. I'll read a little bit. It says, with this fund, we are raising money for our beloved Shibibo maestros. Maestro Eligio, working alongside with his mother, Maestro Justina, and their family are building a hospital in San Francisco, a Shibibo village just outside of Pucallpa in Peru. And the intention behind building its hospital is to open a safe sanitary space equipped with all the basic necessities to run a well-functioning hospital. Because COVID actually surprisingly hit the jungle pretty hard, and a lot of them were sick. And I think even a couple people died within their just little community. It says, there are many villages that run up the Pisky River, and in these villages, there's no access to proper medical care. Right now, these villages are struggling with a lot of disease. For example, dengue, malaria, COVID, children with diarrhea from bacteria in the water, and so on. Using their ancestral knowledge of medicinal plants from the Amazon rainforest, Maestro Eligio, along with Maestro Justina and his family, they're going to open this hospital and be able to to provide affordable treatment to all the people living in the jungle. And they will be working alongside with medically trained nurses, mixing ancestral knowledge with modern day science. So it'll be an amazing blend of medicine to really get a full spectrum of healing for these people. This is really important. So yeah, please donate if you are feeling. Anything, a couple bucks, $1, $2, doesn't matter. GoFundMe. It's crazy to be in the jungle. For those of you that have never been to a jungle, especially like a deep, serious jungle like Peru or like the La Candone jungle, it's a different world. You can feel it feels different. And I'm sure how when you go to different places, they have different vibes. The jungle has that, but it's so heavy. You can physically feel the vibration of the jungle, especially in the Amazon. Everything is just alive. It's crazy. And everything's big. Like I was saying, like those ants and all the frogs are as big as a head. It's a human head. Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, something that was really cool. I forget if I talked about it in my last podcast, but this we went to this little town. I can't even remember the name of it, and we met this farmer, or just this guy who took us down this endless dirt road to a farm, a cornfield actually. There's cornfields on both sides, like children of the corn type of stuff. And eventually, one of the cornfields has a pathway to it. It's a clear path. You can see that people walk to it. And when you walk to this path, it eventually opens up into a field. And in the middle of this field, there's a pyramid there. It was incredible, actually. It blew my mind. I don't know why we don't know. We think of Mexico as being some scary third world country that's just filled with cartels and it's dangerous and you're going to get kidnapped and held for ransom. like Mexico is a crazy place in the sense like there's so much history here that like is this country is just as significant as Egypt, just as significant as Peru, just as significant as any of these. You know, this is like the Aztec Empire and the Mayan Empire and the Olmecs and the Toltecs and the Zapotecs and all this. So many powerful civilizations have lived here, and you can see, you know, like so many people are interested in doing these Indiana Jones type of things, and everyone's like, oh, how do you find this stuff? It's like, man, do the research. We grew up in the United States, and we don't even know that there's like crazy shit in Mexico and crazy traditions. I mean, you come here and do a mushroom ceremony, do a salvia ceremony. You definitely come here and do ayahuasca. It's not that it's traditional here, but it's easy to find ayahuasca here. Mexico is like, it's a magical country. One of my favorite countries. Totally a spiritual place. But like nature spiritual, like Native American, you know, like true respect to Mother Nature. And I really resonate with that type of spirituality. And I think we need to start reconnecting with that type of spirituality in a time like this where it's like, you know, we're destroying the planet. We're destroying each other. We have this fucking shit show of drama and theatrics that we call American politics. Can you believe it? I can't believe that Joe Biden and look what they did, man. Like the fact that you dummies fall for this shit every 4 years blows my mind. That's why I'm not even in the States right now. Give me the flip out of there. You know what I'm saying? But for real, I mean, look what they did to, what's his name? Bernie. We don't get a choice. We don't get a choice. We made our choice. Look what they did to Bernie. They gave us Biden instead. You know why? You know why it's between Biden and Trump? Because we don't get to pick. They pick two people that are aligned with the status quo, that are aligned with the values of the system, and that will perpetuate and continue this circle game of fuckery that exploits normal people every day, that allows billionaires to become trillionaires during a pandemic when people are starving and losing their livelihood. That's the truth. We don't get a choice. Your vote doesn't matter. Hillary Clinton won popular vote by nearly 3 million more votes than Trump. Who's the president? Trump. Trump is the president. We didn't vote for that. This is not a real democracy. The electoral colleges is the whole two-party system. The whole American system is fucked. It's all intentional. It's not broken. You know, how long do we just keep, like someone told me on Twitter, the first step to change is voting in representatives who represent us. And it's like, yes, intellectually, that makes sense. But how many generations is it going to take for this first step to be successful? For there to be a person that represents normal people that is leading us somewhere? Because look at history. We have history books. I've personally been alive long enough to see that nothing changes. You go a little bit left, you go a little bit right. You're playing like a game of musical chairs. And it's fun to get lost in the theater. It's fun to get lost in the drama. Everyone believes and comes together for some bullshit TV package, Lifetime style drama of hope and change when nothing changes. Oh, they legalized gay marriage. Oh, they're giving us black rights and women's rights. They're not giving us shit. We took that. All these social movements did not come from voting in these leaders, from trusting these people. These rights, these movements, these things that make America great were because of us, because of people, because of normal people, everyday people. Because we took it. We didn't vote for it. Who voted for the civil rights movement? Martin Luther King with his life. Voting doesn't make a difference. Maybe locally. Locally, it definitely makes a difference. But the American empire is too powerful. They're not going to leave it up to us. Like, wake up. Wake up. You think they're going to leave it up to us? They give us the illusion of choice. They allow us to play this little game. I mean, is it not clear at this point? Is it not clear that it's just a game? It's all bullshit? And that we fall for it? Why are we falling for it? It doesn't matter. The thing is, it doesn't matter anymore. Vote for whoever you want because a revolution is inevitable. A real revolution is going to happen. It's going to happen, hands down. It's not even a question. And it's going to happen within our lifetime. Absolutely. We are going to watch a lot of craziness unfold. And we already are watching it unfold. I mean, look at this year, this whole year. This is just the start. You know what someone told me? Someone told me we're going to wish it was 2020 in a couple years. So I don't know. You know, I don't trust any of them. Will it be better with Biden as president? Probably. Because it will ease some of the tensions around the world. Like, I travel a lot. I hear people, what they say. You know, they talk to me. Where are you from? I'm from America. The first thing they say is like, oh, fuck. I'm sorry. I'll pray for you. I'll meet people living on the street in India that have nothing. And they'll be like, oh, well, we're praying for you guys. So, you know, Joe Biden has been in office for a long time. I don't understand why. You know, it's just so bullshit. Like, they say all these things. I don't know why we believe them. The only way change is going to happen is when we force it to happen. That's the only time it has ever happened. Or unless it somehow benefits the elite and they find a way to exploit it, then they'll allow it to happen. Like weed, for example, legalizing weed. It's just so fucked, man. It's just such a fucked country. And I mean, it's beautiful. I love the people. I love the land. It's sacred land, the United States. And I love how multicultural we all are. We're all raised together, you know? We're all from all over. And here we are, all expressing our different values, our different beliefs together in one community. The idea of America is beautiful, but it's not real. It is real in the sense, like, when I'm in my community, I feel that, you know? But the exploitation is also real. I live an hour and a half away from Flint. Flint still has poisoned water. It's been years. Millions of dollars have been donated. Celebrities have gone there. They've done campaigns, charities, you know, all these famous people. Nothing's changed. Who voted for that? Who got all that money? Where did all the money go? This is what I mean is by, like, we need to end this fuckery. We need to remove business from politics. And I mean, look, I don't know why I'm talking like a revolutionary. I have no idea how to save the world. But it's just like, we need to start being in the awareness and start waking up. Waking up. Look around. I mean, I don't know, like, okay, I'm from Detroit, so like I see the kind of, I mean, I visit these countries. I'm from Detroit, and I also visit countries that suffer as a byproduct due to America, to capitalism, to our market. I mean, Detroit, probably more so than any city in the country, in the United States, has seen this. I mean, you know, with the car factories and, you know, Detroit was such a staple of American industry at one point. And now it's like this kind of sad place. It's gray and it's tired. And it's exploited. And, you know, I've watched over the years it just get kind of worse and worse. And I watch, the homelessness start to grow. And, it gets so cold that they'll find bodies frozen outside in the city, just dead. I used to work at the Detroit morgue. People would just die because it was so cold outside and they had nowhere to go. I don't know. But I don't even know what I'm arguing. It's just we just need to wake up. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's it's just, we need to wake up and we need to we can't allow this. Don't you get this feeling in your stomach that people deserve better? People deserve better. They deserve more. And I don't know. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to give people that. But I just can't believe that by continuously engaging in this system that doesn't represent us and fucks us over time and time again, that's the answer. Do you know what I mean? That can't be the answer to just oh, I guess it's 4 years. The 4 years is up. Let's do it again. It's no, it's time to look somewhere else. It's time to focus our energy not on those people. Those people don't know what it's like to be normal people. They don't know what it's like to be normal people. They only have existed within privilege. Look at Trump's family, man. They move like fucking robots. They don't even move human. Trump drinking his water. His daughter out there at the LGBTQ pride thing. My father has always been about gay pride. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck. And she's all my friends are gay. And she's moving all like a fucking lizard. What I'm saying is that they don't know how to act around normal people because they only know privilege. They only know privilege. And why allow people that only know privilege to make the decisions for us? They're greedy. Of course they don't care about us because they don't even know what it's like to be us. I don't know. Kanye 2020. So yeah, I think this is actually going to be a short podcast today. I'm going to continue trying to work on, got to get this stuff done, baby. This Igori thing. So I'm sorry to just kind of rush through this podcast as this is a quick update. Well, let's look at it like that. This is a quick update / rant about the state of the world. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, fuck. I forgot to play the intro. We got a new intro. All right, well, I'm going to play it now anyway. Well, see you next time, guys. Subscribe. Also, go over to iTunes and leave a 5-star review for your boy.
A place for humans.
Love ya. I love you, Mother Earth, Pachamama. Forgive us, for we know not what we do.
A place for humans.